Oh man, here we go, you guys. Here it is. Okay,
Content being sent on YouTube. There it is.
here we are. We are now live.
Content is sent to a third party. We live, baby.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's see here. Let's just make sure it's getting through. Okay. All right, we're here. We are live, and we need people to come and say hello.
Yeah, we do.
Come pop in, dog.
You guys
Sure
hear my
will
kids
pop
or
on.
dogs in the background? Should I be on mute?
No,
Nah,
I don't
you're
hear you at
Yeah,
good.
all.
good. He's like barking.
No, you're doing great.
Are you live on
Um,
Summit Skiboards?
Yeah, we're live on Summit Skiboards according to the thing. Started streaming less than a minute ago. For whatever reason, it's just not showing the live streaming on
Yeah, it is.
okay, it's showing that. Okay, cool, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. Sick. Love it. Well, you guys, it's great having you both here. We're still waiting for a couple people on our team. And oh, there's Sascha. We got
Yeah,
Senor Sims.
Damn, finally, dog. Welcome to the party, my G.
yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
The party has started.
Here,
No,
let
the party
Sasha,
already started. Now
Yeah,
it
he's
can
just
continue.
tardy.
He's just tardy.
you just gotta unmute your stuff there, Sasha. Come on, man. There you are.
There he
Hey!
Hey,
is.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, not much. How you doing, handsome?
I'm all right. How's everybody?
Good. Doing great. Doing great. It's
Oh,
great
dog,
to,
you know.
yeah, great to be here with you guys. This is a fantastic way to get together. It's and to have everyone watch in as we're sharing interesting thoughts and ideas with each other. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Most definitely, dude.
So, what's been going on for you all this week as we're getting started here? What's been new?
Are
Oh,
you?
I just got done playing like two back shows. That was pretty.
Whoa.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like a weekend thing, like a show on Saturday, show on Sunday. It was cool. Yeah. It was
They went good?
Epicenter.
yeah. It was good to it was good to be around the band for a while because
Oh,
like
yeah.
we live kind of far apart, so we don't get to see each other very often. And we get together for practice like 2 or 3 weeks, and then like we have a show, and I mean, we know the material so well that it like doesn't practice or not, but it's like it's nice to a little bit more time with those and like so yeah, it was good.
That's
Sick, dude.
great. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, I'm glad. Yeah, and for those of you who are watching who don't know, Sascha Simms here is an incredibly multi-talented individual. He moonlights as a lead singer of a metal band
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
You
he's
can tell
not
by
doing
the
his other
hair.
work. Yeah, that's the you can. And the shirt, no, not really the shirt, but yeah, you can tell by the hair.
That's
But
headbanging hair right there.
his head banging hair. And it's amazing. You guys got to check it out. All you who are watching, Epicenter is where it's at. If you're into metal, it's really good. So
Oh,
obviously the vocals are on point and the guitar, harmonics, everything is pretty incredible. It's really impressive.
oh wow, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He just calls
Well,
them as he sees them.
Calls him as he sees him. Yep, that's it. And
but
we're just, oh, what's that, Sasha? Sorry.
no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing, man. And we're just, as we're going, um, I think just as Biz was saying, it takes a minute for people to jump in on here. And
Mhm.
so this will, however, this is a recording that will be on YouTube. And so we can just start off with some of the questions that I was given beforehand. And then
Yeah.
as we go forward, and people tap in, we can get more of more people's questions live. And so that should be good. And so let me pull this up real fast here. There's been a lot of curiosity around various aspects about what we do, of course, and I think this is just a nice way to get as much stuff answered as we can and just put it all in one big fat video. So
Yeah.
one of the first questions I received was from Tim from Ski Rex Media. Shout out to
Mhm.
Ski Rex Media. He was the guy who invited me to do his podcast, and it was a great experience. And he asked a question about, oh, and we have now Crystal here with us today. It's all good. Hi, Crystal.
She thought I was on another call. We're doing like lots of webinar stuff recently, so
Oh, all good. That's
yeah.
awesome. So one of the first questions Tim from Ski Rex Media asked me was, how do these ski boards perform in the trees and the powder? And some of you guys haven't had as much of an opportunity to use them in that regard yet. Brendan and I have a bit. And let's start off with you, Brendan. What have been some of your experiences with slaying the POW and riding through the trees?
Slaying the pow is crazy.
Dude, I'll start off by saying they're the most nimble thing through the trees. Like, yeah, there's nothing that comes close to it when you're just bopping in and out of trees and all the wells and just having fun in there. The POW, they float as long as you stay a little back.
Yeah, put a
I
little weight in your
definitely
heel.
tomahawked a few times the first few POW runs I did, just because I was so used to POW boards that I could just
Yes.
stand on. They're not your normal POW skis, but they do float. You just have to learn kind of just edge it back a bit, and you're good to go. I mean, they can go anywhere skis can.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they're incredibly nimble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What and Sasha, I've seen you just like kind of moving around as if you were on your blades, just going from jump to jump and kind of going across the park. It was real easy for you to maneuver, spin around, and do whatever as you're
yeah,
going through that.
yeah. They're they're just so like well, I tried regular skiing after I like stopped snowboarding, and my buddy had left a pair of skis at my house, and they were I think they were like 152s, and it felt like I had my feet bolted to a canoe. And like I couldn't. Well, the thing that was messing me up is I was super used to blading to where you could move your feet individually,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
I couldn't really get down the idea of like keeping both feet like locked in the same position and moving them like this. And it just felt weird, and I couldn't really do any of the stuff I was trying to do. And then once you sent me some ski boards, like it immediately clicked, and they felt like I was basically on blades, like super maneuverable. You have a lot of foot independence, which is really awesome if you're trying to do like some of that wizard stuff like you like to do. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, for like going through trees and stuff, which I haven't done a ton of, but I've done it a little bit. They're amazing. Like because they're so small and they're so easy to control. Yeah, you can just like bob through the trees real easily. It's really crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it so is. For me, as I've gone down through the trees, it's nice how you can go through much narrower trees than normal. It feels like you can just like thread the needle like no other with these things and not get stuck or caught on anything. And yeah, it blew my mind, especially using the rocker ski boards, how easy it was to just float through the POW like no other. And like Brendan was saying, yeah, I also what you need to do is just put a little bit of that weight on the heels, a little bit different than what you would do in a ski position. But kind of like you're going forward in skates, you're putting a little bit more weight in the back, like in in wizard skating they call it a predator position, and it kind of feels the same way. Um, and it feels to me almost like you're a little bit more on water skis, just not sitting back as much, and because it just has that nice big shovel in the front and keeps you floating, and so that's yeah, I think that's one of the things to keep in mind for everybody watching. And even if you're not using rockered ski boards, you can still use like 99s and all kinds of. I mean, you can use the 110s and still get through it and still make things happen. The only difference I would say is the rocker just gives slightly more float or slightly more ease in terms of floating through the powder in comparison, even though I mean, you saw Dustin Warbeski on his Carbon Pro 99s just flying through whatever powder. It didn't matter. He was flying off of powder covered boulders and hopping down like it was nothing. It was crazy.
What a guy
Um,
Warbeski is.
Seriously though, and he's not here though, but that's okay. We'll forgive him. Eventually, hopefully, he'll get here soon. But also Kelv Wong, who from New Zealand on our team, for those of you who are watching, he is running a little late. He's going to tap in a few. But yeah, so let's go on to the next question. So the next question that I was asked there from my buddy Wes Warren here in Boise. Well, actually, he doesn't live in Boise right now, but he's a blader who used to live in Boise and really cool guy. He loves to snowboard. In fact, he has the world's longest snowboard, interestingly
What?
enough. Yeah, he has it custom made. And so here I am with my little ski boards, and there he is with his, 10-foot long snowboard just flying down the
10
mountain.
feet.
Yeah, it's
Jesus.
insane.
That's too much board.
I just want to see the chatter on that thing as he's just ripping
Oh,
down the mountain.
It's
Thing's
chatter
just
for
flopping
days,
around.
man. It works, but there's chatter. But it looks like a monstrous surfboard, basically. But anyways, he cool guy. We used to blade a lot out here when he lived out this way. So shout out to Wes. He asked this question for someone who comes from a rollerblade background but has never skied or snowboarded. Should they go soft boots, like the snowboard soft boots with the bindings we have, or hard boots? And
Hmm.
so, what are your guys now? I think Brenden has had experience in both, as have I. However, we both have background as skiers before we've done this, so we have a little bit more bias towards a little bit more of a hard boot. But have either of you guys? I'm trying to remember. Have Kevon and Sasha, have either of you guys tried using the soft boots or just the ski boots?
Not on the not on the ski boards, but
Sure.
on snowboards, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say this, and then I'll jump over to you, Brendan. I would say the nice thing about having a soft boot and possibilities of using hard boots like the skiboard boots we have, the Alpinas, as well as traditional ski boots, and soon to be skate boots, is that we have a lot of options, and that's a really nice thing. And so our buddies at Jerry Feet, shout out to Jerry Feet, who have designed this adapter allowing you to click into ski bindings with snowboard boots. The reason why they got that all set up is because the owner himself, he's had some foot surgeries and things that have made it really hard for him to get into ski boots. And being able to use snowboard bindings has been a great thing for him because he still has great amount of control and it's a lot more comfortable and it's a lot more comfortable and it just allows for him to do what he wants with ski boards. I will say you don't get as much control as in ski board or ski boots, but it still works. I would say it feels a lot like being in the shadow skates
Hmm.
that Sasha has slayed in so many times. It feels a lot like that feel where you have those buckles and then you have that kind of soft boot inside of it. And you still have plenty of control. It's just a different feel. Some people will still do amazing things in them. And Brendan, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, my first day in them was not probably the best day because I was actually on product that wasn't perfectly rigid underneath my feet for the snowboard boot bindings.
Oh yeah.
So I had a lot of like fore-aft play with the soft boots. So I can't speak 100% to it, but I would say, yeah, like you're saying before, having the flexibility for people to just pick, if they're a snowboarder, have snowboard boots, so they want to try it out because they're a blader as well, which I think we have a lot in our community.
Yeah.
For some beyond me, it's like you'll blade, but you're going to be a snowboarder is kind of like seems like sacrilegious in my opinion. but that's
Yes.
that's their own thing. I did snowboard for a time too, but I just like the ability for people to come in and the more the merrier. Like if you got snowboard boots, you got ski boots, you got skate shells now.
Oh yeah.
I think it's awesome. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think if you're a beginner, either is totally fine. But if you're really trying to send stuff or push real hard, like I'm a big fan of like squeeze every ounce out of, performance, like every small maneuver, it's going to translate into the snow. So I'm a big ski hard shell or hard boot person, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's my take.
I do think there's something to be said though about the entry level of it. Because I could see a lot of people coming over from blades. One, they want that blade clipping. That's the first thing they want.
Oh yeah.
Um, if I can just use my skates and clip into the skis, that's gonna be
Mhm.
the move. But I can see the soft boot. Oh, don't do that. Don't tempt me with that. I can see the soft boot making more sense for people coming over from skating, just as an introduction. But like Brendan was saying, like if you want to start sending and actually throwing it down the mountain, you're gonna want something way more stable. I
Hmm.
think just the translation of coming from rollerblading to the snow, it's gonna make more sense to be have a little bit more give when you're
Yeah.
getting into it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, easier to find your stance that way too. Since on skiboards, you want to have a little bit more of an upright stance anyways, like you would if you were on skates. It it allows for that, and it's a lot easier, especially when you're in the more upright skiboard boots that we sell, or in snowboard boots, and soon to be, well, your skate boot, if
Mm.
as people will use
I need
these.
some of those, by the way.
These
You and
are
I both.
these are freaking good. This is the prototype, everyone, and we are getting so close to production on this, but this is so rigid and conforms so nicely to the skate and has a rail right here to go right in the sole plate when you have a skate with sole plates. And so it'll connect real nicely.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Kind of like, so this is just as wide as a regular skate frame right here, this rail
Hmm.
that connects. And we also created a rail that will attach to a 165 mount boot and then attach to this main platform. And it's so the final product will be kind of this aluminum machined piece. So it'll look kind of like a frame essentially, but wide. And this will click on into those bindings. And I tested it out today, as some people saw on Instagram. I was able to lean over and have lots of power to be able to lean on hard ground and put my ski boards on edge, which is really what you need to be able to do with whatever you're using, is to be able to get enough lateral control and support to get it up on edge so that way you can turn.
Mm.
And so, but this, yeah, for those bladers like us, this has just been a really interesting project. I do love, in a way, I do love how I can have a little bit more maneuverability fore and aft, because then it made it easier for me to do some wizard-like tricks and to get down
Mm.
low. And I could see that helping with grinds a bit too. And like you said, Biz, with this, it's obviously not as ideal as using a regular ski or skiboard boot with that added upper cuff and everything on there. But it still works, and it's still a great way for people to jump in and give this a go. Also, this is Soul Evo from there. He was the one who brought this idea forward, him and his staff. And that's what kind of got this idea going. And then I worked with Jerry Feet for us to start putting this together. And he has a lot of great suggestions on ways to stabilize your boot further to make it even more uh, give it even more energy transfer when you're on
Mhm.
skiboards. And so check out This is Soul, and it talks about ways to modify your upper cuff and things like that. So for those who are interested in this, that can be a great way to go. Also, you see here, this is not waterproof. And so water can come on in here. And so the
Mm.
solution that I figured out was you can even go on like Temu or other places, find a thin silicone liner and just put it over the inner
Mm.
liner. And that keeps the
Interesting.
water out. And it works. I tried that out. It helped out. I was doing that with the my them skates, and that especially helped because those ones have a, a lot of space on the top to let snow into. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, that works. That's so I guess we answered two different questions. We answered why in the world are we doing this, and why choose between and what to choose between ski and snowboard
So,
boots.
Cam, I got a question for you since you've rode all of them.
Yeah.
Uh, snowboard boots with snowboard bindings, or compared to those, the skate boots with regular ski bindings, um, where would you put it in terms of like stiffness or responsiveness? Like which one's more responsive, less responsive? How does the feel compared to snowboard boots?
So, great question, man. I would say that riding with my Wizard Skate Seba carbons right here was pretty comparable. It
Okay.
felt, to me, it felt almost the same as being in my in snowboard boots, in snowboard boot bindings with the third upper cuff in terms of support, which is pretty great considering because
Mm-hmm.
people shred all the time on those and go flying. I would say in my them skates, I would need to modify the upper cuff a little more to make it more stable because it was a little harder to get on edge. But I just tried my FR1 boots and those the 165 mount, and those felt pretty similar to this, just a little more give, but still has a nice sturdiness to it. So it really depends on the boot. And we have more boots to test for sure, but if it's like a typical plastic aggressive boot, you would just have to make sure you have a really good solid upper cuff and preferably have a some kind of a strap, a 45-degree strap too to help you.
What about length of ski boards on with those? Would you recommend?
So far I've only tested them on my uh on my 106 centimeter groove-ins, which are these rockered frame with these not rockered frame. Yeah, I'm getting into wizard skating. Rockered ski boards, and those worked quite well. And those are just a great all-around ski board. Of course, our ski boards go all the way up to 125 centimeters, and I would need to test it on a longer ski board to see what it would be like. I would say that around that 100 centimeter, 110 centimeter and lower, it works pretty well so
Cool.
far.
Okay.
Okay, now I have a question that kind of switches subjects a little bit.
Excellent.
Um, I'm trying to be in the park, okay? I gotta show Sascha how much better than him I am.
That's right.
What's the perfect what's the perfect ski board for park riding?
Oh, there you go.
Uh, well, I'm on the 99s right now, and the 99s are really, really good if you're trying to get like really tech, because you can maneuver in them so well and you can do all that wizard stuff. They're really good for grinds.
Hmm.
Uh, Super easy to get onto obstacles with. The only issue that I'm having is I'm trying to like do like big jumps and like get a lot of air and like send it as like far as I can and do spins and stuff. And they're a bit squirrely
Hmm.
for that type of riding. Um, so I'm actually gonna be getting the 125s.
No, the
And
bigger ones. Okay.
yeah,
Send it.
I'm gonna go longer, yeah, so I can like get a little ability so I can like do bigger gaps and stuff. But I'd say for somebody who's getting into skiboarding from rollerblading and they want to start like applying some of their skate tricks to the park on skis, the 99s are great. Like they're definitely a good starting point because it'll give you a good idea on like what type of riding you want to do in the future. I'm glad I started on those because I think if I started with the 125s, I might not have been happy with them because,
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't think I would have gotten down the like foundational, uh, stuff to like start like how do I get on rails? Because like getting on rails and doing boxes and stuff it's different. It's not fully one to one like
Hmm.
there are some things you're going to have to change about your approach, but the 99s definitely make it a lot easier and it's a lot more friendly of a transition.
Mhm.
I'd say start from there and just, if you want to go faster, go bigger skis. If you
Hmm.
heavier, stay on the 99s or go shorter. If you want a good in between, the 110s sound pretty good. Like just talking to Cameron about
Yeah.
and so it seems like a good in between. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm currently on the 110s and it
Oh,
is kind of that kind of foundation, right? Like it kind of feels like I'm figuring out a lot of it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been really cool to like test out and kind of test the waters. I haven't really gotten on boxes yet, but I rode next to it. I was close to it.
Yeah.
Um,
how did
and
it?
so yeah, I've always wondered, like I think that's where people's heads are going to be at, especially coming from blading.
Yep.
The first thing they want to do is figure out how can I royale a box?
Yeah,
Like how can I frontside or backside something? So I'm wondering if 99 seemed like it might be the move to do that.
that was like the first thing I tried. Yeah, but
See, you see what I'm talking about?
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that was like when I went to, like I want to start grinding like immediately, and like I just like it didn't go well like for like the for a little while. It's still there's still a lot to figure out. Like I haven't figured out switch ups like the guys on the skis, and they can like individually
Mm-hmm.
pivot their
Oh,
Oh,
it's crazy.
rail and stuff. I have no idea how to do that, but I can do a front side, I can do a back side. That's about it. But like boxes are a lot more friendly because like
Yeah.
you basically just stand slide.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most fun things though is that because the skis are smaller, you can actually do like blade positions. Like I'll hit a box and I'll like put my foot behind me and do like a Mizu. And like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Works great for it.
front and do like a soul position or an acid. And that's really cool because you can't do that with regular skis.
at all.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
That's exactly it, man. And I would say like for me between the around the 88s to 99s around that's kind of a sweet spot for being able to do a lot of blade-like maneuvers. I haven't come out with the courage yet to do like a Unity or something like that, but you can totally do it on those. You just have to dole the center the edges in the center
Mm,
of the ski board a little bit so it will slide and you're not like scraping on the box.
mm.
But it's possible. It's terrifying to me, but oh, sorry, Sasha, what were you saying?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying detune your ski. If
Yes.
yeah, if you're gonna do rails and stuff, detune your skis. I didn't, and like I just like went to hit a rail and caught my edges, and it just fucking sent me. So
Yep, it will do that. Yeah, it'll catch you and it will spit you out pretty effectively. But no, that's a great point too, Sasha. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what it means to detune, it's when you take a usually kind of either a sandpaper kind of red wedge or something or a file and you just kind of go at a 45-degree angle roughly just kind of rounding out those edges on the sides of the ski board. And that enables you to do a lot of the blade-like tricks without catching an edge on the rail or on the box or on the snow if you're wanting to do a lot of wizard tricks like I
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm.
It's really nice when you can have, especially that nice rockered feel to it. I like to mix some wizard skating stuff with some of my grind stuff, and do some mushroom blading type things. Personally, I'm not super great at the grinds yet, but we're getting there, as we all are.
It's gonna be our season. All right,
It's
Cam?
gonna be our season, man. It is gonna
Yeah.
be. Yes. And back to your point earlier too, Sasha. So if you're wanting to do you can still do a lot of grinds like a front side, back side, things like that with longer ski boards. It's just harder to do anything like crossing over your legs or having one leg behind the other to do like a Mizu or a soul grind, things like that. And so that's another thing to keep in mind. Do you have any input on this too, Brendan, as you with your experience so far?
Brandon's kind of the GOAT, so I want to
He
hear
is the
it.
No, not at
goat.
all. Sasha just came in and just crushed it.
He's Sasha though. It's all right.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm not a big rail person. Like even on skates, like I just stick to my soles and the simple stuff. But honestly, in terms of detuning, I would say everybody should detune their skiboards right out of the mark, like just a little bit, like depending on what you're doing. If you're gonna be doing rails, detune the crap out of them. But if you're
Yeah.
just doing wizard stuff, like detune just a little, just take the edge off because especially if you have full camber and there's no early rise, the pivot point on a normal turn for a ski is like right in the like scoop. if you will, where the camber comes down and like you're
Mhm.
turning, it just digs. So having that taken off just a little bit of that edge to let it pivot, it, just I would say just do it. Just a slight rub on the sides of the rails to get it perfect. Like
Our
all
next
my
call, we're gonna
skiboards.
have a detune session for your boy
Yes. Yes.
There it is. There it is. We'll
because I'm
do
gonna
it.
need that.
All right, hold on. I just got to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right,
Do it.
man. So along with I
Poor
love you
Sasha.
guys. This is the best. We have such a great team of I just and I think this speaks to the blading community. We all are just kind of chill,
Mhm.
easygoing people who are just having a great time,
For
and
sure.
that's the best.
Just having a great time. And
Having a great
Sasha.
time, going to the bathroom. It's good.
What's in the bathroom?
I mean, he was on his phone. He could have just, brought it in there.
He
It's the
could
blading
have.
community, right?
He's got to commit. It's true.
I would have paid good money to see that. Just like no, says nothing about it. Just heads to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sasha, are you
That
on the toilet right now?
we make, we're pulling in views, right? We're pulling in views. That's what we're
Yeah, that's
doing.
right. That's right. Clickbait, baby.
We're reeling it in. Well, since Sasha, I'll wait for a second for the next question, unless all our viewers here have any questions for us right now. I think I have a couple more things to talk about with the idea that your initial question is,
Mm,
um, and for because I didn't touch as much on the wizard skating aspect. For those of you who do wizard skating, I would really recommend using the rockered ski boards the most, like the Skate 96, the Grooven 106 centimeter, and mainly those two. And I would say also the Roland 88s, even though they're not fully rockered in that way, because they're so short, they just pivot and spin like you're on blades, like
mm.
you're on a rockered frame. And
The Skate 96s, are those, do you still have to sand them down?
with those, with their length, I mean, you don't have to. It just prevents you from catching an edge as easily when you're pivoting and spinning around, especially on like 1 foot or something.
Uh-huh.
I mean, for me, what I mainly do with those is I just detune and sand down or file down the edges more towards the front and the back of the ski boards, where that touch point is at the very front, where it touches the
Hmm.
ground. That way, because that's the part that will hit the snow the most of
Okay.
everything when you're spinning around. And so
Mhm.
when you do that, that enables, and you're just straight up and down, that allows you to do three turns and lions, gazelles, things like that
Okay.
on the Skate 96s. It's pretty easy on those. I haven't had too much. I haven't had to do much by way of detuning in order to get a lot out of those ones because they're shorter and they have a lot of rocker on them.
I may need those for this season.
Oh, they're
We'll talk.
fun. Yeah, we'll
We'll
talk. We'll
talk. We'll
chat.
conversation.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, it's good. And so now we got Sasha. He's not back. That's okay.
He's
He
not
forgot
bad.
something. He forgot. I saw him for a second there. That's okay. It's all right. We'll just jump into the next question and then I'll catch
Yeah,
I'll catch Sasha up.
we'll we'll catch him up.
So here was an interesting one from David Masvalo, who
Hmm.
has been a follower of us, and he's had a lot of great comments. He actually got into ski boarding more recently as he's seen some of our stuff.
Nice.
He does a lot. He's in Southern California, does a lot of climbing and some blading stuff. Really cool guy.
Right.
So he asked us, what are the pros and cons of the boots being on the board or closer to the board versus raised up higher on risers?
Mm,
And that I think Brenden can speak to a little bit, and I have some thoughts there too. On my end, essentially one of the main reasons why people will have a riser is especially when they're using snowboard boot binding because it's wide and fat. And so if you're laying down a carve with, like, let's pretend my hand, this isn't working, never mind. So when you're laying down a carve, if you have that binding too close to the ski board below and you're laying down that turn, the side of that binding is going to scrape on the snow and mess you
hmm.
up. And so for practical reasons, it's good to have a riser. I think it's usually around this tall, high up, that raises you up above, so that way you can lay down some nice deep carves and not worry about the sides rubbing. And at the same time, some people do claim that when you do that, it gives you a little more leverage on the ski board. However, for me personally, I prefer a little bit closer down in.
Sorry, he came back with
Biz is trying to
food.
keep it together.
He
Yes.
came back with food. And
What
he
do
didn't
you?
get nobody anything.
Um,
So here a little intermediate question as part of our Q&A today is what is Sascha eating on his plate this evening?
Yeah,
Ooh.
answer in the
What's the
chat.
grub?
Answer in the comments. What's he eating?
yeah, yeah, y'all can guess. Or do you want me to tell you?
Looks
Yeah,
like
tell us.
ravioli or something. Is that
It's
ravioli?
macaroni.
Oh, macaroni and cheese and cheese.
Cheese, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yes.
like a it's like a vegan kind of deal.
Oh, very
with
good.
mac.
Nice.
It's like an oat milk cheese, and you blend squash, and you make the cheese sauce with butternut squash.
That's
Oh, yummy.
fancy.
That
Yeah,
is fancy.
That is way fancier than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
like super super like this really silky cheese sauce. It's really good. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
That
Yeah.
sounds delicious, man. That
It's,
sounds incredible.
so what did I miss? What were you guys talking about?
So we were partially into talking about the difference between the pros and cons of having your boots on a riser versus having them closer to the ski board. And in terms of Summit, we typically will have the snowboard boot bindings on a riser. And even when using Jerry feet, that elevates you a little bit because you're clicking into the bindings, but you have a platform that your binding is already on top of. So that kind of acts as a riser in of itself. And then the closest you can get is being on non-release bindings, I would say, as long as they're thin non-release bindings. Those are hard to find. Those are a little harder to find these days. But then being clicking into ski bindings, you're still pretty low to the ski board. Personally, I prefer being low. I just like that feeling. I feel like my center of gravity is in a better place with that. What thoughts do you have going on with that, Brenden, with your experiences?
It's all about the feels. It's
It
all about
is
being low to the snow.
low to the
Honestly,
snow.
I don't think it's that big of a deal once you get used to something that's it's kind of your jam. But like, I don't know, just having the lift, it feels like demo skis a lot to me because they have those like track systems to like
Mm,
quickly do that, so it lifts you up. So I don't know, having just being low to the boards is the way I like it. And I would imagine that's true for grinds too, because like you don't want to be way up here when you're grinding on something down here. Like you want to be
yeah,
as
Yeah, that sounds
close to that.
terrifying.
Yeah, you don't want to be on stilts.
yeah. Yeah, it's and I think that's the way it is with for a lot of bladers anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
We like to be as close to the ground as possible, except for us crazy big wheel people who like to hit parks on big wheels. We're wild. Or
Weirdos.
those new frames that came out. What are those frames called? With the it's a freestyle frame with just two big like fat 110 millimeter wheels. What are
Yes.
those?
Oh,
What I
well,
can't think of the
Besky
name
has
of
a
it.
pair of those things.
You would have
Oh,
those.
He would,
wild,
right?
man.
Yeah, they're
Wild.
crazy.
Wild man.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
Well, yeah, I
needless.
mean, it's also like Razors cut out the bottom of the boot at one point to get you
Hmm.
closer to the frame.
Hmm.
Like, I
yeah.
think bladers can really relate to getting as close to the ski as possible.
Yep.
I understand the risers, especially for like fat foot folks like myself, like catching catching your boot sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, but you as close as you can get to the ski, the better, because I want to almost feel the snow get in my
Yeah.
toes.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean?
That's right. And then just cut a big hole open into your boot and let that snow in, man. Let it
Just
come
embrace it,
through.
dog. Just
Embrace
bring it.
that.
Just let it come in.
But that, yeah, great point though. Yeah, it's nice. I think also for landings and stability in general, it's nice having a lower feel personally for me too. You just feel like you're more one with the ground and with the snow.
Yeah.
And so that's good. Any other thoughts that you guys have on this question before we jump to another question?
No,
No,
no.
I think I'm in there.
Okay. So, the next question was from Rick Ramburn. He commented a while ago on my the what we're going to likely call Summit skates. Again, I'll bring these puppies up for eye candy. There they are. Look at that, shiny, delightful.
It's a
and
cute
they're
name.
yeah, it's nice,
It's
Summit
adorable.
Skates. It's good, yeah. But yeah, they click in. You have you have the heel toe piece going on, so you can click into those bindings. But the question that he had is, what is the advantage of using skate boots over just wearing ski boots? Now, we answered this a little bit earlier. Now, it's the main advantage is just allowing people to get into the sport more easily, as
Mhm.
well as giving more variety to people, and I would say more ability to create and try different things. I think it adds another flavor, another yeah, different feel than being in a ski boot. And so
Yeah.
you can experiment with that, especially if you're used to your skate boot doing grinds and tricks. It can be really nice to use your favorite sturdier skate boot
Yeah.
with this and just test things out and try things that no one that people have perhaps never done before.
Yeah.
I I mean, now that you mention, oh, sorry to cut you off, Biz.
No,
Um,
you're good.
yeah, now that you mentioned there's like the space to fit onto a sole plate, like
Yeah.
with sole plates, like what can you do with that? That sounds
Are you thinking you put shadow plates on it and start hitting machios?
dude.
We were right here, dog.
Just put a lunch tray between and just like
Yeah,
lock on
yeah,
everything, man.
100%. That's a shadow plate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There
it's
you go.
like Savasin out in Russia. He's like he
That
I
guy.
saw him with like plates at soul plates. You can do
He
that,
had
Sasha?
he put his skates in crates at one point.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a yeah, oh my God.
Dude.
Was
That
it?
guy.
Oh yeah,
Amazing.
he like made like sole plates out of like two old laptops or something.
Oh my God, he did do that. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
Yeah. What?
there-
Oh boy.
He was in an accordion. He actually put his skates into an accordion one time too, and had the accordion going in and out.
God, I
And
wish I was 19 again.
I or the dude just looks extremely young. I don't know. He just has this baby face. I don't know if he's yeah,
No,
he's
he's
got to
like
be.
he's got to be like 21, 22 now, I think.
Man,
He's because he's running pro for Rosie's at like 18.
yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
wild. That's wild.
Going back to the like the question though, there's also the obvious aspect that it could just be like cheaper for people to get into the sport because like snow sports in general are relatively expensive. Ski boards are not crazy,
Yep. Yep.
especially if you're buying skates. But
Yeah.
you know, when you're getting into boots and you're getting into all these different things, it can really add up. So
Oh
having the
yeah.
option to strap your rollerblades in, I mean, I don't know everyone's situation, but like I have two pairs of skates. Like in one,
Mm.
it's just like an old pair of skates, so I can have a new pair. You know what I mean? Like a lot of rollerbladers tend to have skates kind of lying around.
yeah,
You can repurpose those. If you're able to repurpose those into a new sport, that's awesome
Oh
because
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not having to go spend $400 or $500 on a pair of boots.
Yeah.
yeah,
Granted, ski boots so much nicer. I'm not gonna hold you,
Yeah.
but the having the option there, one to like have something new, have something different that people haven't seen on skis before, and then also just the inexpensiveness of being able to like upcycle the stuff you have.
yeah,
Yeah. I love that. I love that. You're upcycling. That's exactly what it is. You're upcycling,
Yeah,
and that is a really great use of the stuff you have and making the most of things and make creating less waste in a way. That's awesome.
yeah, 100% that. Yeah, we're creating less waste. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like the not just the investment, but like the world of like ski gear is pretty baffling.
yeah.
Like trying to figure out like what boots you want, like
Oh
because
yeah. There's a lot.
You
I
can't just go get boots, man. Sorry,
well,
Sasha. Like you got it's a process to get some that you like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and if yeah, and it like you want to try them on and you want to get them fitted well, and then like you're just getting into the sport, so you don't know what type of riding you're gonna do, and like there's like certain companies that make boots that are really good for park and some that aren't, and like it's weird. So like if you already have your skates, then like and all you need to do is get the skis and the adapters, then screw it, you're halfway there. You
Mm.
know, at
Oh
least
yeah.
at least you can just start hitting the mountain and then go from there. You know.
Yep. And hey, we got a question
Uh,
from
Yeah.
someone out in Poland. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll probably mispronounce your name, but it's Rafal, it looks like, Osmalak. Sorry if I mispronounce your name, but
Did
thank you
better than
for
me, I'll tell you
tuning
that.
in. Do my best. And he asked us this: how fast can you go with the skate boot? Will the bolts and the shell survive heavy braking? Cheers from Poland. And cheers from the United States of America. Thank you very much. So, for one, I have fortunately had the opportunity to experience speed on these. When I went down, I after my ski resort closed, I go to Bogus Basin here in Idaho. There was a limited amount of snow left on the side of the mountain, and so I just hiked my way on up to the top of the mountain and sent it on my skate boots. Now, that's a good test because
Yeah,
because at
I would
that
say a
point
good test.
it's it was a good test because that was nasty snow. It was just all pitted out and rough and rock, having to go around rocks. And so I went down a blue square run, which is a little steeper, not quite as steep as a black, but still steep enough to get a lot of speed. And I was able to get quite a bit of speed down that without there being any issues with the skate boot or
Hmm.
the prototype. And that was even with an earlier, less strong prototype than the one we have now. And so I went down on these with an earlier prototype on my carbons, and I had enough ability to still stop, even though it was just nasty, like kind of slushy, icy, crusty grossness
oh,
with
you
rocks here and there.
East Coast riding.
East Coast riding, that's what I did. East Coast
I know you're
in May.
hard and crazy, and I'm like, that's just how it is out here. Like, I've never
Yep.
got the nice snow that you guys got. East Coast riding.
Sascha, man. It is. We gotta get you out here sometime because you have missed out. You've missed out. We're spoiled by powder out here so
Spoiled
often.
by powder, spoiled by skate spots, spoiled by weather. Oh,
Yeah.
so nice over here.
We got our pinky out on this one, and yeah, it's but Sasha, no, but you're right. It's when if you're using them on the ice coast, there's definitely, I mean, it'll probably feel the same as what I did there, but yeah, it was able to hold up with the adapter, and I would say if I had a softer boot or softer skate boot that I was using, it would have been a little more challenging at that point. Um, and so, for those of you who just got on, we talked a little bit though about how Evo from This Is Soul, he has a video on his YouTube channel that talks about ways to stabilize your skate boot and make it to where you have a lot more lateral stability and strength with them. And so you can use those tips. You can turn a lot of different skate boots into a more reinforced, stronger boot. Also, I love my Intuition liners for that. They're fantastic. They're a little spendy, but they're freaking incredible, and they conform
They
so
are.
nicely to your feet. They're just they're
And
good.
Intuition's a ski company anyway, so it makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
you're
true.
right.
Yeah, yeah. And also yeah, and the nice thing about the Intuition liners is they keep a little warmer than the average liner too because there's a lot of filling. There are some holes in there though. So if you need to insulate, you might want to use some kind of a wool sock, something like that.
Mm.
And we have another question. First thing that comes to me, will shadows work and will a walkable liner survive snow? And so
Oh no.
um
Oh no.
Is that what he said?
What's that,
Oh,
Sasha?
oh God, no.
Sasha, you cut out there, buddy. What were you saying, man?
No, I'm sorry. No, it's funny he asked that question because I literally just thought about that like 30 seconds ago. I was like, would the Eclipse liner work? And maybe because like they're basically like little snowboard boots anyways.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
might do well.
it could. Yeah, and if not, there's these little these little covers that you can put on your
Mm,
liner. You might be able to put, and they have little grips underneath of them even. And so I think Rafał out in Poland that you could probably put these over those boots to make them a little more waterproofed and that might work.
Yeah.
Those would be really interesting to try on these because it's kind of like you're in a snowboard boot with snowboard bindings clicking into ski. So it's kind of like you're using Jerry feet, but just with a skate boot. So that would be a really interesting test. And I don't know, what other thoughts do you have, Sascha, with all your experience? Any other considerations though about shadows?
Um, I think the only thing, well, I don't know, the Eclipse liners are pretty stiff. I mean, my shadow setup is weird. I ride them with the Intuit, which I wouldn't do on skis, but
Hmm.
with the Eclipse liner being a lot bulkier and a lot stiffer, um, I think it would work. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that would be okay. I am very curious to see if someone gets the Jerry feet and then uses like the shadows with them, with the sole plates and everything, dude. Like that would open up a whole bunch of doors because like the sole plates, you'd have a backside plate on the outside of your ski, so you could
Yeah,
like, lean over into a Royale. That would be wacky.
that would be
'Cause-
wacky.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I hope that that dude does that, and if you do that, get some video. I want to see.
Yeah, that
Want
would
to
be
see?
Send it to
amazing.
the crew.
Yeah, yeah. Tag us.
I really like that idea of having a wider sole plate that you're using and mounting on those Summit Skate adapters, and then and that way it comes out slightly more than the frame, or
Yeah,
than rather than the edge of the ski board, and then you all of a sudden have that a Royale groove essentially.
yeah.
That's
That
cool.
would be super crazy.
Oh yeah, and
Interesting.
that's something we'll have to experiment with. We have a lot of experimenting to do this season, you guys. This
Oh,
is gonna
most
be good.
definitely.
I think we need
Yeah,
to figure out grooves on ski boards too on the edges.
They
yeah,
did.
You're saying the
I
right
just don't know
things.
how well it's going to work with like actually like carving and whatnot, but I mean, it'd be kind of fun to have some sort of little bit of metal,
Like
grooved.
oh
Solomon
yeah,
Solomon did that.
Did
yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Long time ago, long time ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, like had the edges stopped and they actually had like a groove, like an H
An
block.
H block,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I don't know how good
Interesting.
it them, but yeah, it was really wacky looking. Yeah, I don't know how well that worked.
Hmm.
But
future
They didn't make any
skiboard
more,
tech.
so
no,
Yeah,
no, you'd be hard pressed to find a pair, but I did see them in like the early 2000s, I think.
yeah, that would
Yeah,
be really cool. That would be neat to see if that could work. We'll have to yeah, we're gonna have to experiment with things with designs and stuff and see what kind of things we can do in that regard.
yeah.
And
I
oh,
I
Bring
go
up.
do
ahead,
like that
Biz.
I do like that we have like a lot of skill levels on the team.
Yeah,
So that when it does come to a lot of the testing, um, we can get it from all angles. You know what I mean? We can see like I'm the I'm not the I'm not trying to talk bad about myself, but I'm the worst on the team. Um but as my skills get better and as we go up more and learn,
yeah,
like during this testing, we can see like what's gonna be the entry level thing,
Hmm.
what's going to be the advanced thing, like
yeah,
how are the because I always talk about this with blading, especially when people are asking me like how to get into skating.
yeah,
You see, like I'll suggest certain skates, and then I have to realize that even though this is an entry level skate, pro riders still ride these skates.
yeah,
So it's kind of
yeah,
the same thing with the ski boards of like, though there's like entry level sizing or whatever, there's still dope stuff that can be done on them. And so it's going to be really interesting this season to see we can how we can push it from all skill levels. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Or like all skill levels, all types of riding. Like it's such a well balanced. It's not just a bunch of hut guys that want to be in the park or whatever. It's like a bunch of different
yeah.
types of skiing, which is really sick.
I think that's
Whatever.
you hit the nail on the head with that. I think ski boards are at least the community around it is such a diverse, welcoming, free space to like go experiment. You can be a beginner and you can go have fun. You can be an expert from other things like skiing and stuff, go have fun. I mean, yeah, I love that about skiboards.
Mm.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's and I love to, with that being said, how unfortunately I think skiing is getting better these days than they used to be. It used to be even more elitist and
Oh
kind
yeah.
of an exclusive kind of an exclusive feel to it. Whereas with skateboarding, you don't have to have a ski resort. You can just go where there's snow. I mean, it's easy to stride on these as if you're on in certain ways. I mean, there's
It's just funny when you say you go where there's snow, and I just think of Dustin Webetsky.
oh yeah, yeah,
Just,
exactly.
he literally just goes where there's snow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just hitting his park, his local park, go flying down, going down whatever hill. Skiboards make
Mhm.
it really easy to do that, and so and we just want to be a welcoming community like we are, and that's a great thing. And just anyone who wants to be a part of this, you're here with us, and and that's and the beauty of it with too is right now we're at this precipice where there's so much more to be created and done.
Mhm.
There's so much more to do, and we need this openness and acceptance and support to encourage this creativity that we're seeing more and more of lately.
Yeah.
And that like we're talking about, you can do wizard skating type moves, roller skating type stuff. You can do aggressive skating type stuff, or you can just go down just like you're on a regular pair of skis if you want. You can do whatever you want to do, and there's just such a infinite amount of possibility here. And I think, Brendan and I, we were up on Mount Hood in the summertime on the skiing down the glacier, and we were just trying weird stuff, like, doing like a hand drag, like holding one ski board with one hand while we're doing like a pivot on our hand and spinning around off of that. And you can just do a lot of strange things on these because of how maneuverable they are.
Bro, you be
And
in the sand dunes.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah, you
you
can go on the sand dunes too. Yes.
do whatever you want in these damn things.
You don't need
Yeah,
snow.
you
You
don't
don't
need
need
snow.
snow.
Oh
We should do
man,
a team on Mount Hood though, because I've always wanted to go to Mount Hood Meadows. We should do a team session one this season.
yes,
I'm
it's
in.
incredible. Mount Hood Meadows especially, there's a lot of good terrain park going on. They have just a lot of a vast variety of stuff. That would be a sick place to go meet up. That would be
So
amazing.
fun.
Yeah. And and speaking of dunes, you guys brought up, I forgot about the dunes, even though I've done it a bunch this summer. That just to answer, if anyone has any questions out there about dunes, all you got to do is use some black graphite wax. You can Pearl makes it, Purl. They make a
Mm.
black wax that you just literally just rub on the bottom of your ski board and then just go bombing down, and you can go flying. My buddy and I were on Strava. I think we got up to about 25, 30 miles per hour on sand, which is
Yeesh.
pretty fast for sand.
Yeah,
Um, and it does
pretty
the
fast for a
job.
lot of things.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
good. It did really well, and that's oh man, and the nice thing about it, because they're so short, you can turn so much easier than if you're on skis or a snowboard in that regard too. Because otherwise you're just kind of slogging through it because it's sand, you sink into it real easily, and it's just heavy. And so, anyways, for those watching, that's a great time, and you can go flying doing you can just yeah, if you go to like Huacachina sand dunes in Peru, they have those
Mhm.
monstrous dunes there. That would just be the sickest time ever. For those of you down in South America, that would be a great time.
Hell yeah, dude.
Um, so let's see here. I'm gonna look and see if we have any other questions from previous. I think I would say overall, some of the main questions that I have heard is why why should a skater consider ski boards? Why should they care? This is a snow sport. It's like, okay, well, why should I do this rather over doing skis or a snowboard or something like that? And I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this so far with your experiences.
Because it's dope.
It's
End of
dope.
sentence. End of call. Bye. Nah.
Peace.
I think what's the cool thing about it is that the skills are somewhat transferable, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're coming from blading, like it makes more sense. I understand why a lot of people went towards snowboarding because of kind of like the mindset of what snowboarding was when skiing was like ruling the mountain. It was super elitist.
Mm,
A lot of rollerbladers gravitate towards snowboarding because it was the like underdog sport for a really long time. But and then I know me, I hate crossing tips, so long skis were always difficult for me.
Yeah.
And Sascha was talking about how keeping the legs together was such a difficult thing with skiboards. There's a little bit of that, but it's a lot less. Um, and it's also interesting to try. You always like I always talk about like rollerbladers should have blades and quads in their trunk just to have a different thing. A ski board is another thing to help will help with skating. It's just really cool to do. And then also like some people live in towns where there's not the ground's wet.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
just rollerblade all the time. And sometimes it's good to have some off-season training for when you want to go back to rollerblading. So um with those with those ideas there, like skiboarding is just a no-brainer to me. And
Yeah.
it's
Great
dope.
point. And it's dope.
Yeah, it is really dope. Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with everything that Kevon just said. Also, like, I don't know, being on the mountain is freaking rad. Like
It
So
is.
rad.
it's just like it's just like I don't know, it's just nice to be out in nature.
Yeah.
You're with the trees. It's like, you're up on top of a hill, you can see everything. And then like for anybody who's like, Blade, but they've never like done a snow sport, or they do understand how cool it is to like snowboard and like be on the mountain and stuff. Um, Being able to do something that makes more sense to your body, like going from blading to skiboarding, is such an interesting feeling
Yeah.
because I grew up snowboarding, and my uncle was like the vice president of a mountain near where I lived. And then he took another job at another mountain, so him and my aunt left, and so I didn't get to like ride for free anymore. And like I was like, I don't know,
Oh man.
yeah, I was like
That's a
50.
setup.
Well, right now I ride for free all the time. And then like when he moved, like I was like 15, and like I couldn't afford to go to the mountain all the time. So like I stopped
Yeah.
for like a really long time. And then like maybe like yeah, like a few years ago, me and my wife were like, yeah, let's get back on the mountain because she skied a lot when she was a kid. And I was like, yeah, screw it. I'm gonna buy a new setup. She's gonna get new skis. We're gonna hit the mountain. And we did, and snowboarding just felt so strange to me,
Hmm.
like, because I had been rollerblading like steadily through that whole entire time. And
Interesting.
as soon as I got on the ski boards, it made perfect sense. And it was so enjoyable. Like it opened up like a whole new world of like how to view riding the mountain. And like it just made everything so much more enjoyable, like that I was able to apply the same tricks on skates to the skis. And yeah, like for anybody who like is a snowboarder and a rollerblader, just give the ski boards a try, dude.
Yeah.
You'll never go back to snowboarding. Like, and that's not to say anything bad about snowboarding. Snowboarding's awesome. I think it's really rad. I watch snowboard videos all the time.
Oh
But
yeah.
for bladers who like like know how blading feels, know how good it feels. And if you're at like a certain level of skating and you want to take that level of skating to the mountain, like ski boards, like
Mhm.
it translates super well, you know? And again, it's dope, like Kevon said.
It's just dope.
And yeah, and just like Raphael says here, if you're older and it's your first time on snow, ski boards are the easiest and best entry point, easy turns, etc. Absolutely. Such a great entry point. Definitely. Thank you for that thought too. Brenden, what thoughts do you have, man?
Man, I was good. They've covered it for the most part. I mean, honestly, the big one for me is if you're a blader and you have your urban environments, but you want to have a winter sport and you want to go experience nature, like Sascha just said. I mean, that's the biggest one for me is just like have that
Yeah.
ability to take exactly not exactly, but very close to what you're already doing, and just go do it on snow up in the mountain or
Yeah.
on sand. um, you know, the other part of this is like this is a, I mean, skiboarding started 20 years ago, right? So like, or 30 years ago. When did it start? Like early 90s?
Yeah, and
Uh,
skiboards, I mean, they were used a long, long time ago in the early 1900s by explorers and stuff. They made like
yeah.
makeshift ones, but then in terms of like skiboards as we know them today, yeah, they definitely got going in the 90s, about yeah,
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah. So, but my point is like, even though it got started a long time ago, this is still such a baby, like an incubation, like sport. It's so
Yeah,
small and there's so much new territory to go, come take your blade skills and create your own tricks, create your own vocabulary, like make your own scene in this sport. Like it's not, it's, we can borrow tricks from skiing, we can borrow tricks from skating, but like, it's an open it's an open door to like come create and be creative. Like that's another huge point I think to go skiboarding.
100%.
oh yeah. To what you're saying too, Brendan, I thought about jam skating. People who are roller skaters, how they
Mm-hmm.
do jam skating and rhythm and things like that. And we have Roller Mike, who's going to be on our team this season. Such a cool guy, so good. And speaking of the creativity, I mean, you can transfer those kinds of moves to these so easily as well. I am so stoked to see Roller Mike and Patrizia Graf and others do a lot of those smooth, rhythmic spins and turns and just give a really artistic feel to what they're doing. Um, that's the beauty of it. Yeah, you can just do whatever. You can go bombing down the hill too. You can go crazy fast. You know, my buddy was on 106 centimeter going 55 when I was with him, and I'm not cozy with those kinds of speeds no matter what I'm riding on. But he was
Right.
doing that, and yeah, you can still go fast if you want. You can bomb, or you can get really technical, or you can do grinds. I mean, or you can grind on trees like Werbeski does. You know, you can hop on those trees and make it happen, or go up the side of trees with a makeshift ramp and come back down them, and whatever you want to do. It's great.
Hmm.
And Sasha, you had something there, man, a
Oh,
second ago.
um, uh, yeah, I think I also, like, you and I have had conversations before where, I think it's really interesting that, like, there is, like, some weirdness in, like, the traditional ski world towards ski boards. And
Yeah,
it feels, uh, basically like rollerblading.
yeah,
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 where sports are like, this is stupid. But like you were saying, like about like how there's like this kind of myth that like skis need to be a certain length in order to function properly, and they
right.
all. And like guys make are like such high quality that like they can, do everything normal skis can do. You know,
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, like you were saying, your friend is like hitting 60 miles an hour on these things. That's freaking bananas.
It is
Uh,
bananas. Yeah, he was flying, and he could slow down and stop when he wanted to. It was fine.
and like, yeah, I just think that's really cool. That like an easy entry point into the sport, and yet if you want to get crazy on these things, you totally can. Like Biz was saying about like how in the blading world, like we have like entry level skates, but like pro riders still ride them. So there's like such a scale of like, it's easy for someone to get on a set of 99s and like start like actually going down the hill and like doing stuff. But then also somebody can totally get on these things, do 60 miles an hour if they want to, or like hit rails and jumps, and the performance is the same.
Yeah,
Right.
That's really rad.
it is rad. Yeah, I love it. And you know, when Brendan and I were getting things going, I called him up. A little backstory there, by the way. Brendan was the reason I'm doing really the reason I'm doing any of this now.
No,
By the
that's
way,
not true.
yeah.
You did it because you wanted to, and then
No,
you
yeah.
called.
No, but you started.
Yeah.
You got me going, man. Like I hit you up because I was getting back into blading, and you invited me to come out and go blade with you, or you said, yeah, let's go blade in Portland. And so we went around. We got on your show. then you and others encouraged me to start doing my own YouTube stuff, and eventually that led to, and yes, you're right. I would have, I would have found skiboarding at some point. But in terms of what we're doing now and how epic it is and being able to do videos and stuff, definitely you had a part in that, and I appreciate that, Brenden. And it was, and so earlier on when I started getting into skiboarding, I got Brenden on board, and it just kind of clicked for us. And it was a really cool thing. We were actually at Mount Hood Meadows. That was the first place we met up to skiboard, and
Yeah.
it was magical. And I just remember the very first time Brenden was on there, he was instantly doing wizard tricks and jumps and whatever. And yes, he's an experienced skier, but would you have done any of those things, some of those things that you did instantly on skiboards as much as you would have on your regular skis there, Brenden, when you were getting going with it?
Oh no, no. I mean, ski boards are hands down the easiest thing to get into, and especially if you have an inline skate or roller skate background. Yeah, I mean the crossovers seamless, near seamless.
Yeah. You were doing
There's
those year.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, there's also something to be said about like how fast it clicks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, um, a lot of things have learning curve. Everything has a learning curve, but like the learning curve, especially if you're coming from blading, it makes a lot of sense. Like my first time on these things was this season, was past season, and it was weird, but I made it down the mountain like with no classes, no teaching. I think I just watched a lot of Brenden, and things just started making sense. But like as soon as I clipped in from taking from as soon as I clipped in from taking the, why can't I think of the name of taking the lift, all the different things, like it all kind of clicked in. It was a little bit of survival, but it was also just like, oh,
Yeah.
this is the same thing.
Mm.
It is. And
For sure.
I think there's like a liberating aspect of that. Like it kind of terrifies you at first, but then as you start to get ease in, it's like, wow, that feels good. Like you just
Yeah.
accomplished something in a really, you didn't have to take any lessons. You just started carving. I mean, and Biz, if any of you guys have seen his video, just his second time up on the mountain, he was starting to figure out how to carve and starting to cruise on down those blues. And that was rad.
Right.
It was good stuff. It's intuitive, but it's satisfying. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice being able to. I guess that's the other thing is the entry with skiing and snowboards is you're just figuring it out forever. It takes a long time to learn, and it's a
One
lot
thing.
harder to enjoy the whole mountain with them.
Mhm. One thing I want to quickly say, if you are a blader and you do skiing, or that's what your two things you do, like I was doing, if you're in the skiing camp, like I'm too good for ski boards, like you're kind of poo-pooing them because you think you're an elitist skier, please take just take your pride down a bit and just go try them. I
Yeah,
promise you they will be a part of your quiver. They might not replace your skis, your longboards, but like they will be a part of your quiver. Like you're gonna want them just to go play in the parks, to play in this tree. Like there's something you can get off of them on them that you can't get on your skis. And the playfulness and just the crossover of skiing and skating. It's that nice synergistic center that
Hmm.
please go skiboard. Try it out.
yes.
It's one of
And
those
like
things where,
oh yeah.
I'm so sorry, Cam.
Oh, you're good, man. You're
It's one
good.
of those things where like all action sports is has a high level of play. Like a lot of what we're doing just in general, from like the big crazy street sections to really fun like park sessions, like there's a huge level of play there. And so you're
Yeah,
doing yourself a dishonest by not trying different things because you're missing out on another level of play. And you
100%.
never know
yeah,
what like ski boards could do for your longboards, could do for skating, vice versa. Like you're missing out on that little element of like, oh, that would be sick if you're not trying out different things.
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I 100% agree, Biz. That's such a good point. I mean, you owe it to yourself. Treat yourself with ski boards.
Treat yourself.
And to that point, it's fun. Well, that's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun. And
Um,
and yeah, that's what it is. It's like and if we're not having fun, if we're just then what are we doing, right? I mean, yeah, there's something it's worthwhile, doing stuff for our physical health, things like that. That's good. At the same time, it's fun. And it's nice to share that fun with others. And it's really nice too when you have friends who have never done snow sports before and you just bring them on the up the mountain and they can come hang out with you and come enjoy the mountain rather than hanging out on the bunny hill all night long trying to figure out their skis or snowboard. It's
Mhm.
really cool being able to take people along that way. It's been so much easier for me to bring friends up the mountain with me and have them try this out and much easier to convince them to give it a shot. And they've never regretted it. Every single time I brought a friend up, I probably brought like 20 different friends up the mountain last season. Every single time they just had a blast. They were so excited that they learned something new, and it was just a really good experience for us.
I I would be hard pressed to like find somebody who could get on a set of ski boards and be like, gross, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, even my sister who had never done any kind of snow sports before, hasn't done any skating before even. She jumped on there and I took her up to Powder Mountain in Utah, and it even started snowing. It started dumping snow. We got like a foot of snow that day, and
Yeah.
she started going down Powder on a steep green run, and still
On her
made it
first
down.
day?
Her first day.
That's wild.
Jeez.
Yeah, she
That's
was
wild.
on the easy 95s. And she was just and she fell a few times, but it was
Mhm.
powder, so whatever. But then she started to make turns down the mountain first day. And she
Wow,
was so thrilled. It was as an older brother, it was just the coolest thing to see. It was really neat to have that experience with her.
that's awesome.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. But yeah, so you guys, I'm realizing we've gone on for a bit today. Just a few last thoughts and any thoughts that you guys have too. First of all, for any of you guys here, if any of you guys are going to Blading Cup, we will be there in Santa
Ah,
Ana,
Sasha.
California this week. Except for Sasha. Sorry, Sasha. We were really hoping, but New
And
Hampshire's kind of far, I guess, sometimes, and that's a
yeah,
lot. That's a cross country.
like a 6 hour flight. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I definitely want to go next year. It just didn't work out this year. I've taken so many trips and I've like taken so much time off work. So
It's all good. No, it's great. We'll have you in our hearts, and you'll be here with us as we're down. We'll have the heart of Sasha
yes,
in us, and as we go and shred and enjoy times at Blade Cup.
uh,
Absolutely.
Um,
you
but
guys,
yeah, so for those of you who are coming down though to Blade Cup, hit us up. We're gonna do a raffle where we are doing a collaborative raffle with Nickel and Dime Skate Shop in LA, and we're gonna be giving out some merch. Um,
Nice.
including one of these really sick embroidered Summit Skiboards beanies.
I want
uh,
that.
yeah,
Can I
It's
replace
good
this
stuff.
beanie with that beanie?
We'll have to do that, man. We'll have to do it. It's good stuff. My mom actually embroidered these herself. She has an embroidery machine. She embroidered these.
Wow.
They're official. They
Those are
are
going to be
Now
worth a
I
lot of
really
money.
want
they're
one.
going to
Yeah,
be
it
worth a
really
lot of
is.
money.
Yeah.
Yes.
OGs.
These are the OGs. This is the beanie that started all beanies, man.
That's right.
So
Damn,
so
Mama
we'll have
Cam, thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll have those down there. We'll have we'll have some wax, and also Nickel and Dime Skate Shop's gonna pitch in a hat or two, something like that.
Nice.
And we'll have stickers. Also, for any of you guys who come and see us at Blading Cup, you will anytime if you enter your name into the raffle, you will automatically get a promo discount code, and you'll be able to get a little discount on your purchase of ski boards. So that's
Nice.
also a lovely thing. And so come hit us up, all those of you who are watching who will be there. I think, yeah, Biz, Brenden, myself, um, we'll have Kelv there as well.
That's right.
Long and Montre. Montre is going to be competing. I am so freaking excited to see him compete. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
You will get
And
dizzy.
yes,
He
that's right.
450 everything.
yeah.
It's unreal. I just that guy, he's the machine of machines
For
with when it
real.
comes to blading. But yeah, he'll be there. He hasn't skiboarded yet. He will start doing so this season, but he'll be there. He'll stop by and chat. And so we're gonna have a crew. It's gonna be a good time. And again, Sasha, not to make you feel bad, we're gonna miss you
No, no,
greatly.
no, to make you feel bad.
Yeah,
Bring your
okay,
ass
okay,
though.
okay. But yeah, so check that out. Any other last remarks that our amazing ambassadors have tonight for things that our audience should know, or things that any questions that you guys have been asked that would be good to to answer a little bit here?
Man, for me, just go buy skateboards, dog.
That's right.
Buy them. They're
Could you
dope.
could be dope right now.
Could
Just
be.
being lame by not having some skateboards. But if you had a pair, you'd be really sick. Yeah, if you want something for like off-season training for a new level of play, a new level of excitement, get yourself a pair of them and meet us up on the mountain.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, and we're all across the US and worldwide. We got people in Chile, South
Oh yeah,
Korea. We got all over the US and some out in Europe. Shout out to Tim and Patrizia and others out there. And
right.
so, chances are if we're in your corner, chances are some at least one of us might be around somewhere in your corner of the world a little here. And so yeah, hit us up and maybe we can all go skiboard together and have a really good time.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody has like any questions that they weren't able to ask tonight, hit me up on Instagram.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Likewise.
Yeah.
Yep.
same here. Yeah, don't hit me up. I'm just kidding.
Speak for yourselves.
Hey,
I'm
you
done
got a
with this
couple people to
question.
talk to. You're fine.
Well, you guys are amazing. It's been wonderful talking with all three of you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you all who have been watching. Appreciate your questions and your thoughts. Sincerely hope this has been of benefit to those of you curious. And again, have the dopest time of your life this winter.
Most
Hook it
definitely.
up, get these ski boards, make it happen. And we promise you, you are going to have fun. It's going to be great.
100%.
Yeah.
Good for the
All
season.
right. Well,
All right, y'all.
thanks again, you guys. Everyone take
Thanks for having
care,
us.
and we'll catch you all later. See you all next time.
Yeah, yeah. Later,
Peace
guys.
out. Later. Oh, I ended the live stream and now it's just us on the